Welcome, gentlemen. The strangest traits of Sigma males that will make you say WTF. Have you ever met someone who seems completely normal at first, only to discover they have habits so bizarre they leave you speechless? Enter the world of the Sigma male, a paradoxical wanderer shrouded in mystery. These guys break every social rule, but not in a loud or rebellious way. No, they do it quietly, in a way that makes you wonder, is this guy a genius, or is he just messing with the rest of us? Sigma males aren't here to impress anyone. They live in their own world, march to their own beat, and frankly, couldn't care less about fitting in. But the weirdest part? The things that don't just catch you off guard. They make you stop and think, WTF, did I just witness that? So buckle up, because these aren't your typical lone wolf traits you've heard 1,000 times before. We're diving into the 13 truly bizarre and perplexing behaviors only a Sigma male can pull off, from their obsession with discomfort to their almost alien detachment from anything normal. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew about human behavior. And trust me, by the end, you either want to high-five them or slowly back away, or maybe both. So, gentlemen, stick with me till the end. The final point will definitely resonate with you. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Number 13, they read people like a book. One of the most unsettling things about Sigma males is how easily they can read people, like flipping through a book. They don't need small talk. Within minutes of meeting someone, they've already figured out what motivates them, their hidden insecurities, and even what they're not saying. It's like they have an invisible scanner that picks up on all the tiny cues most people miss. And here's the weirdest part. They don't even have to try. While the rest of us are still struggling to remember someone's name, they've already mapped out their entire personality. They're not doing it to be manipulative. Their brains just work that way. They're hyper-aware of body language, tone of voice, and those micro-expressions most people don't even realize they're making. They can tell when someone's nervous, lying, or faking it, and they file all that info away without saying a word. What's even stranger, they usually don't confront people with what they've uncovered. They just sit back and observe, maybe dropping a subtle comment here and there to show they know more than they're letting on. It's as impressive as it is unnerving, like being around someone who knows your secrets before you even open your mouth. Sigma males might not show all their cards, but trust me, they've already seen yours. Number 12, they're always a step ahead, but never show it. Sigma males operate on a completely different level, but you'd never know unless you're paying close attention. It's like they're playing 4D chess, while everyone else is stuck on checkers. They have the silent way of staying one step ahead, seeing moves before they happen. Yet they never feel the need to flaunt it. You'll be having a normal conversation, thinking you got them figured out, and then bam! They drop a subtle remark that makes you realize there's a whole layer of thinking behind those calm, carefree eyes. And the kicker? They're not trying to prove anything. They're just wired to think several moves ahead. And for them, it's as natural as breathing. What's truly mind-blowing is how well they keep these plans under wraps. They're not the type to announce their strategies. In fact, they'll let you think you've caught up, that you're on the same wavelength. But behind the scenes, there's always more going on, things they've calculated, predicted, and considered without ever mentioning a word. It's like they're running a background program, processing way more information than they let on. You'll never truly know what a Sigma male is thinking, but trust me, they've already anticipated your next 5 moves. The key detail? They'll never rub it in your face. They'll just sit back, let things unfold, and stay 2 steps ahead the entire time. Number 11, they predict outcomes with uncanny accuracy. One of the strangest and most unsettling traits of Sigma males is their almost supernatural ability to predict outcomes with eerie accuracy. It's not like they're sitting around with crystal balls. They just have a sixth sense for reading the room and understanding how people work. It's like they have a human radar picking up on subtle signals and patterns most people overlook. You might think you're in control of the situation, but they're already 10 steps ahead, nodding along while internally calculating possible outcomes. You'll see them analyze situations in real time, and just when you think they're zoned out, they'll drop a bomb. Give it a week before they start arguing, or mark my words, that plan's going to fail. And it's not just a wild guess. They have an almost spooky track record of being right. It's like they're watching a movie they've already seen the ending to, while you're just sitting there confused, munching popcorn. What makes this trait even weirder is that they don't brag about it. They'll sit back and watch events unfold, sometimes with a smirk, like they're in on a joke you don't get yet. And when their predictions come true, they'll act like it's no big deal, leaving you wondering if they're half wizard or just that good at reading people. It's equal parts impressive and slightly unnerving, making you question what else they know that you're completely oblivious to. Number 10, they're time travelers in their own minds. Sigma males have this near sci-fi ability to live in multiple timelines at once. No, they're not secretly auditioning for the next time travel movie. In their heads, they're constantly jumping between past, present, and future, like flipping channels on TV. One moment, they're replaying an awkward conversation from 2 years ago, thinking of all the best comebacks they could have had. The next, they're fast-forwarding to what their life will look like in 5 years if they make a certain decision today. It's like they're running their own mental simulations, testing different paths and outcomes before taking a single step. They don't obsess over mistakes in the usual way. It's more like they're time travelers pause in the past, tweaking the memory a bit, then returning to the present with new insights. They've already lived the alternate timelines in their heads. So when they finally act, they do it with a clarity that leaves everyone else scratching their heads, wondering how they always seem one step ahead. But here's where it gets really weird. This isn't just overthinking spirals. It's almost like they've hacked time itself, moving between realities to fine-tune their present decisions. To them, time is more a suggestion than a rule. They're not stuck in an hour like the rest of us. They bend it, play with it, and use it to their advantage in ways that would exhaust most people's brains. Number 9, they memorize random, useless info as mental training. Sigma males have a peculiar knack for memorizing what most would consider completely useless information, and it's a strange thing to witness. While you might struggle to remember where you parked or what day it is, these guys are out there reciting the entire periodic table. Why? Because for them, it's not just trivia. It's a weird form of mental training that keeps their brains sharp. Picture them casually listing all the U.S. presidents in order while you're still trying to figure out if you left the oven on, or keeping track of the exact number of steps in the hallways they walk. Sounds absurd, right? But to them, it's all part of a bigger game, one where they're constantly exercising their cognitive muscles like a mental gym routine. They love the challenge, and while others might roll their eyes at their obsessions, Sigma males are quietly sharpening their minds. This habit might seem like a quirky party trick, but it has a purpose. It's about conditioning their brains to think fast and retain information, which comes in handy when tackling complex problems or making split-second decisions. So while everyone else is busy scrolling through memes, Sigma males are diving into the deepest mental workouts, one random fact at a time. It might look pointless to the untrained eye, but to them, it's just another way to level up in the game of life. Number 8, they have solitary rituals. Sigma males are known for their unique way of navigating life, and one of their most peculiar traits is their love for solitary rituals. These aren't just random habits. They're like secret handshakes with themselves. Imagine this. Every morning, a Sigma male might spend extra minutes arranging objects on his desk in a particular way. It's not about looking tidy. It's about setting a sense of control that kickstarts his day. To the outside world, This might seem like an odd obsession, but to them, it's a grounding exercise that sets the tone for what's ahead. Night walks become another canvas for their rituals. They might take the same route every night, not for exercise, but because it gives them comforting predictability in an unpredictable world. As they walk, they mentally sort through their day or reflect on future plans, all while enjoying the rhythm of their routine. What makes this extra weird is how little they feel the need to explain these rituals. To them, these practices are deeply personal, like a meditation that doesn't need an audience. While others might feel pressure to justify their habits, Sigma males simply embrace their quirks without a second thought. This highlights not just their independence, but also their inner world, where the need for explanations fades away. It's their way of maintaining balance. And honestly, who needs an audience when you've got a perfectly arranged desk and a reliable walking route? Number 7, they're hyper-independent but crave deep connection. Sigma males often get labeled as lone wolves, but beneath that hyper-independent exterior lies a surprising desire for deep, meaningful connections. It's a strange mix of wanting to be alone, while simultaneously craving the kind of bond that makes life worthwhile. They're not antisocial. They're just extremely selective about who they let sit at their table. You could say they're on a mission to cut through small talk and get straight to what matters. When they interact with people, they're not interested in chit-chat about the weather or the latest Netflix show. Instead, they're the ones asking about your biggest fears or wildest dreams. If you ever have a real conversation about life's mysteries, you'll see their eyes light up like they stumbled upon hidden treasure. But the second they detect fakeness or insincerity, it's like a switch flips. Suddenly they retreat, as if entering an emotional escape pod, leaving you wondering what just happened. This push and pull dynamic can be confusing, even for those closest to them. They want real connections that challenge their minds and hearts, but they also fiercely guard their independence. It's this unique trait that makes them so intriguing and a little paradoxical. At the end of the day, they're just searching for those rare souls who can match their depth. No fluff required. And in a world full of surface-level interactions, that's a tough find. Number 6, they're emotionally unreachable but deeply empathetic. Sigma males are a true enigma when it comes to emotions. You won't see them breaking down in public or giving tearful speeches. In fact, they're so emotionally unreachable that you might mistake them for cold or distant. But here's the twist. They're often more tuned into others' emotions than most people. It's a bizarre contradiction. They can sense what you're feeling before you even realize it. But don't expect them to reveal what's going on in their own heads. It's like they have an emotional radar. But instead of showing their cards, they keep theirs locked up tighter than a vault. They'll know when you're upset, give perfectly timed advice, or say just the right thing to lift your mood. But if you try to reverse roles and get them to open up, you'll hit a wall. They're like emotional mirrors, reflecting what you feel without ever revealing what's inside them. What makes this even weirder is how easily they connect with people on a deep level while giving so little themselves. They understand human emotions in an almost unsettling way, yet they've mastered the art of keeping their own cards hidden. It's like they've studied emotions as a science and know exactly how to navigate them. But don't expect to crack their surface. They might know what's in your heart, but theirs is a mystery few will ever solve. Number 5, they obsess over small, random things. Sigma males have a peculiar habit of fixating on the most insignificant, random details most people wouldn't even notice. While others might comment on a pretty landscape or a flashy outfit, these guys zero in on the exact shade of blue in the sky and spend way too long explaining how it's different from Tuesday's blue. Or maybe they'll pick up an old leather-bound book and suddenly it's all about the texture, how it feels perfect in their hands. To the point they'll interrupt the conversation to talk about it. And it's not some calculated act to seem deep or quirky. Their brains just work that way. Their minds latch onto these tiny, random things, and once they do, there's no redirecting their focus. You'll catch yourself thinking, why does this even matter? But to them, it does. The blue has to be just right. The book's texture is a sensory experience they can't ignore. What makes this trait even weirder is that they're not doing it for attention. They genuinely care about these minuscule details others would overlook. It's like their brains are wired to find meaning where no one else would look. To them, it's like discovering a secret world hidden in plain sight, something so random it makes you question how you've lived your life without noticing these important details. Number 4, they disappear without explanation. One of the most baffling Sigma male behaviors is their ability to vanish from your life without a single word. No fights, no drama, they just ghost. One minute they're in the group chat or showing up to hangouts. The next, they're off the grid. It's not because they're angry or resentful. They just decide they need a hard reset. It's like their social battery hits zero. And the only way to recharge is to disconnect completely. What's even weirder, when they reappear, they act like nothing happened. No apologies, no elaborate explanations. They just slide back with a casual, "What's up?" as if they weren't gone for weeks or even months. This leaves people scratching their heads. Did they go on a spiritual journey? Secretly join a monastery? Nope. Chances are they were just off-grid, doing their own thing, away from the noise of human interaction. The strangest part? They don't see their disappearances as a big deal. To them, it's normal. They come back exactly the same, unfazed by whatever chaos unfolded in their absence. It's like they hit pause on their social life whenever they feel like it and press play like the world's been patiently waiting. It's their unique brand of self-care, but to everyone else, it's just confusing and inexplicably impressive. Number 3, they hate being controlled but love self-discipline. Sigma males are a fascinating mix of rebellion and self-discipline. Like a wild horse that's also an Olympic gymnast. They deeply resent the idea of anyone trying to control them. Bosses, friends, even family. They don't stand a chance when it comes to dictating their choices. To them, external control feels like a straitjacket, suffocating their independent spirit. They'd rather wrestle a bear than follow someone else's rules. Yet, paradoxically, they thrive under their own strict personal codes. Picture it like their own self-imposed boot camp. While others might resist morning workouts or strict budgets, Sigma males see these disciplined practices as their personal playground. They hold themselves to higher standards than anyone else ever could, striving not just for excellence but mastery in everything they pursue. This duality baffles people. How can they resist outside authority while holding themselves to tougher standards than anyone would demand? That's the magic. Sigma males know true freedom comes from self-discipline. They choose their path, one of rigorous self-control, a wild ride where they're both the driver and the unbreakable rules. So while they might scoff at the idea of being told what to do, don't be fooled. Deep down, they're the ones building a life entirely on their own terms. Number 2, they invest in things with no immediate reward. One of the most fascinating Sigma traits is their ability to invest in things that offer zero immediate payoff. While the rest of the world chases quick wins and instant gratification, these guys are planting seeds for future successes that might never even bloom. You'll see them dive into obscure hobbies, master a dead language, or take on complex projects that seem to go nowhere. To outsiders, it looks like a waste of time, but to them, it's a bet on the future version of themselves they envision. It's like they're playing a long-term game of chess with life, aware that the real rewards might take years to arrive or never come at all. They embrace uncertainty, throwing themselves into these pursuits with a level of commitment that makes you wonder if they know some secret about how life works. This isn't about trends or social media likes. It's about personal growth and self-discovery, even if that means working in the shadows. And honestly, It can be a little unsettling. You might find them reading ancient philosophy or learning to juggle flaming torches and think, what's the point? But the Sigma males, that's where the magic happens. They trust the process, knowing today's eccentric investments might yield unexpected rewards tomorrow. So while you're busy chasing quick wins, they're building a richer, more complex life, one weird obsession at a time. Number 1, they're obsessed with learning obscure skills. Sigma males have a peculiar obsession with mastering the most random, obscure skills, leaving everyone around them scratching their heads. While others focus on useful hobbies like coding or guitar, these guys are learning lockpicking or medieval swordsmanship. It's not because they think the world's ending or they'll need to duel in a Game of Thrones battle. No, it's way weirder than that. They dive into these niche skills purely for the intellectual challenge. It's like their brains crave complexity in the most unexpected places. While the rest of us struggle to fold a fitted sheet, they're in a corner forging their own knives, just because they can. It's not about survival, and it's definitely not about showing off. In fact, half the time, they don't even mention their weird hobbies, because it's not for bragging rights, it's for them. The satisfaction comes from mastering something almost no one else cares about. It's like they found a glitch in the matrix that lets them operate outside social expectations. Who needs another guy who can play Wonderwall on guitar when you could be the only person in the room who knows how to escape handcuffs with a paperclip? It's a flex, just not in the traditional sense. More like a, you'd never guess I know how to do this kind of way. Conclusion, the Sigma male circus of life. In the grand circus of life, Sigma males are like those avant-garde clowns juggling chainsaws while riding unicycles. Completely fascinating and slightly terrifying. Their strange traits, from their eerie ability to predict outcomes to their solitary rituals that seem nonsensical, make them stand out in a world that often values conformity. These guys operate on a different wavelength, making them hard to pin down but utterly captivating. Yeah, you might raise an eyebrow at their obsession with memorizing random facts or their talent for ghosting social scenes like a spy movie. But that's part of their charm. They embrace their weirdness unapologetically, reminding us that normal is overrated. They thrive in their own unique universe, where every odd habit serves a purpose only they fully understand. So the next time you encounter a Sigma male, don't rush to judge. Instead, lean in and enjoy the show. You might just find yourself nodding along, wondering why you hadn't thought of it before. They're not just weird. They're wonderfully strange, and that's what makes life so much more interesting. After all, who doesn't love a little intrigue seasoned with a dash of chaos? So here's to Sigma males. Keep being your extraordinary selves. The world needs more of your peculiar magic. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. Stay safe and God bless.